Your child needs to learn how to ask for what they want, what they need.
My name is Nancy Marchese. I'm a board-certified doctoral level behavior analyst and a clinical psychologist. My goal is to help 2 million children with autism and their families by transforming their lives, and I can't wait to help you too.
Super important to get them to learn that request. You can check out some of our older tips on how to do so. But not only is it important to teach them how to request, or in ABA, what we call the demand, that's our fancy name for requesting, it's also important to teach them how to request in different ways. Much of our communication in the real world revolves around gestures. We don't just vocalize or express ourselves in different ways vocally. For some kids, it may be vocally with autism. Some kids, it may be pictures or sign or whatever works for them. But we also express ourselves through gestures. So while you're teaching your child how to communicate their needs and wants specifically through whatever form of expression, whether it's vocal or pictures, I want you to think about also teaching them some key gestures that may start with a point, pointing to what they want. Super important skill if your child doesn't have that. Think about creating those opportunities the exact same way that we create opportunities with asking for things. Have things that they like out in the environment, and when they show interest in those things, teach them. You might have to help them a little bit to point to those items. And when they do, what happens? They get the party, they get those items. So that's one important element of consideration for communication. Teach those gestures. Pointing is one, hi and bye, a wave is another. Many more like that. Then as they start to be able to communicate, whether it's vocally or through pictures or sign or whatever works for them, and they're using the gestures, then you can level it up. What do I mean by that? We integrate the two. This is a really key aspect of communication that many children with autism have a hard time with. They may communicate vocally, for example. They may even have some gestures, but using the two together can be super tough. So what do I mean by that? It means when you teach the wave, you don't just teach the wave now because they're already doing that. You teach the wave with the hi and bye. That's a beginning form of an integration of asking for something and gestures. Here's another one. Teach the child to point to the item and say the item. So point to that cookie and ask for the cookie or ask for the water. Integrate the two. So to sum up, you've got teaching the specific requests, whether that's the item, whether that's the verb, go, play, whatever makes sense for your child, teaching that request, teaching some gestures that go along with some of those vocalizations, and then combining the two. Integrate the vocal, the expression, the pictures, whatever that might be, with those gestures. It will be key in terms of allowing your child to learn to navigate and interact with the social world.
There's only so much we could cover in the short amount of time we had today. If you found value in what we talked about, go to breakthroughautism.ca, join our newsletter, and also follow me on my socials.